This is the Tango Alpha Lima podcast.
They call me crazy cause I'm facing all my giants. They try to scare me into thinking I can fight it. They tell me I should never even think of trying. But that's just me, I'm gonna live out in defiance.
Hey, Alphas, we hope you're amped for today's episode because we've got a guest you want to hear at full volume, so turn it up. We'll be chatting with a motorcycle riding, beard sporting, smooth country twanged, voice of an angel, singer, Scotty Hasting. Scotty's an Army infantryman who survived 10, not 9 or 8, but 10 gunshot wounds in Afghanistan, only to go on to have a smashing music career after signing a record deal with Black River in 2003. He's got a ton of really great songs out there, like Pro Beer, which recently dropped, and To the Last Shots Fired, which he performed alongside Lee Brice and Dolly Parton. Scotty is now on a mission to help anyone struggling with loss or mental health find solace through music. The song he wrote, Scars, which also recently dropped, walks listeners through the physical and emotional scars he's carried. And I can't wait to hear all about his own journey. Scotty will be appearing at the American Legion National Convention in Tampa on August 26th, performing his own music and the national anthem, handing out youth and service awards to deserving recipients, and speaking about his personal military experience to thousands of veterans attendants, including you and me and service dogs and Holly and all the Alphas that are coming, hopefully to Tampa.
Yeah. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be awesome.
Before Scotty joins us, Joe, I think you've got some good news for us. Didn't your book, Wayspring Wanderer, just hit Kindle?
Book. I'll read you the blurb right quick. Normally I would make a joke here, but this has been a lot of work, and it's been. I'm really proud of this. So so in this world, the only thing more precious than water is trust. Oscar Dorn is no stranger to nightmares. As a Marine, he's lived through more than his fair share, but these new dreams carry a weight no battlefield ever did. The screams of his brother Eric, long believed dead, ring in his mind every night, calling for help. With reality fraying at the edges, Oscar heeds that call, drawn to a terrifying space between worlds, and ultimately to a desolate planet on the brink of collapse, a place where water is lifeblood and the fading remnants of magic cling desperately to it. So he's there to save his brother, who's been missing for a long time. He gets druid powers. He's on a desert, and he has a prosthetic leg. I don't mention that, but I think that it's pretty cool. And he's going to be in a pretty wild adventure. I'm actually writing book 3 right now, but it's being published through Shadow Alley Press, and it comes out on September 16th, which is actually the day before my Alive Day. So it's be a good time.
So this is book 1 or book 2?
This is book 1. This is book 1. Yeah, this is my first ever.
And
I got picked up by a publisher somehow, and people do like it.
Can they find it on Amazon? Where are they?
It is on Amazon. And if it doesn't break any rules or laws, then maybe it'll be in the show notes, and that would be really fantastic if you could support a young, handsome veteran writer. And if you can't, support me.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, do it anyway.
Not so young a veteran writer.
Yes, an achy veteran writer.
Well, it's about a broken man chosen to heal a broken world. And you know what, Joe, hearing about your journey and how you've been pouring into it, and so much of your own lived experience that may find its way in there through allegory and metaphor and the beautiful world that you built. We're looking forward to pre-ordering it, to receiving it, and to reading it. Congratulations.
Thanks so much, man. And there will be paperback and hardback copies if that's more people's thing. So thanks.
All right,
I'll
Alpha.
be back with Scotty.
Stick around, and we'll be back with Scotty right after the break.
Join me in the American Legion's year-long celebration of our nation's 250th birthday. We're celebrating America with USA 250 Challenge. What is the challenge? The USA 250 Challenge is built on 3 important features we know well: physical activity, mental wellness, and community service. Join the challenge today. Visit legion.org to learn more and register for $30. For your registration fee, you will get to choose a commemorative t-shirt, while supporting Veterans and Children Foundation. I look forward to celebrating this special birthday celebration with you.
Today, we are joined by Scotty Hasting, Army combat vet, musician who's graced the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, and now, more importantly, guest for the Tango Alpha Lima podcast. Scotty, welcome.
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Scotty, thank you for your service and your continued service for our community. Alphas, I hope you are as pumped as we are to go to the National Convention in Tampa. And here's why. Scotty is going to be joining us. Scotty, what do you got in store for us?
Oh, we're gonna have a good time. You guys are definitely gonna get to know me on a very deep level, yeah, it's gonna be fun, and hopefully we can all connect, and hopefully y'all take away something from the show.
Can do some songs for us. I'm excited.
For sure.
Your voice is like chicken noodle soup for my sick, tired, aching soul. It's like
I love
butter.
it.
Nice.
It's wonderful. But before we dive into your music career, I really want to go back in time a little bit. You're from Kentucky, right?
I am, yes.
Were you in the bootlegging business or the horse training business? What did young
No.
Scotty do?
Definitely not. I've worked a lot of jobs, yeah, I was playing baseball for a long time. I played semi-pro baseball, and
What? Really?
Yeah. And one day I just decided that I wanted to join the Army. I wanted to be a part of something that meant something, and I wanted to do something that was bigger than just myself. And I decided to join.
So you rolled up to the recruiting station, and you had all the branches to choose from. Why the Army? What drew you to that?
Growing up, watching movies and TV shows and stuff, what I saw was an Army soldier out there fighting, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, in my eyes, a soldier was someone who was out there fighting the bad guys. That's what I wanted to do. And so for me, it just made sense. The Army was the way, and that's the way it went.
And his ASVAB score was too high to join the Marine Corps.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
Were you the first in your family to join?
No, actually, my uncle was in Vietnam. He was a tanker in Vietnam. And then my great uncle was an MP back in the day. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Scotty.
But yeah. I walked in, and I went into the Marines, and then I pushed the door instead of pulled it, and they were like, "Oh, you did it right, so you should probably get in the Army."
Wait, the Air Force didn't know that, or were they out to lunch? Were they like sitting?
Yeah, no, Air Force. It was the door's locked. I don't know.
Hey, we had
and they immediately
met their
locked
quota
it.
of one per year. Yeah.
The amount of people that we've had say they joined the branch because the other one was closed or they were the only one open is hilarious. Your entire life has been sent in one direction because of what recruiter wasn't out
Because of what
schmoozing
door
somebody.
was open at the time.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But you joined the Army because you're smart, and you've walked a road that most people couldn't imagine, from combat to injury to recovery to your music career, from the battlefield to the Grand Ole Opry. But and you don't always get to pick the units, that you're in the military. You may get to pick the branch. But you and I were both in the 1st Infantry Division. I was a pilot in 1st Combat Aviation Brigade. So, yeah, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool to learn that about your story. What did it mean to you to wear the Big Red One in combat? And what was kind of your military service, like?
Yeah, we got done with basic training, and they said that we were going to Fort Riley. And immediately I was like, what the hell is in Fort Riley? And they were like, well, it's the 1st Infantry Division. And immediately I was like, Big Red One. I've heard of that. I don't know anything about the military, but I know the Big Red One. So it immediately was it kind of instilled some pride, it's the 1st Infantry Division. It's the first,
That's right.
It's just, there's something about it, man. It's a legendary, exceptional unit. And I was incredibly proud to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah, and then deployed also. And what was that like? And how long did you end up staying in for?
Yeah, deployed to the Kandahar province of Afghanistan, and of course, it's terrifying at first. You don't really know what to expect, and unfortunately, I made the mistake of watching some documentaries that were out about the Arghandab River Valley, which is where we were, and that was stupid. Because then I also scared the crap out of my family as well. But no, I mean, it was, you go in there, you go and you don't really know what to expect. And, you get there and you get to the Kandahar airfield and it's just like another training day. You're going and you're learning what to do and how you're going to do it. I got the Valen at that time. So I was the Valen operator, and it was just another training day, but it really doesn't get real until you get shot at the first time. That's when it's like, oh, this is a thing. Like this is for real now. Like, holy crap. Like your first firefight is when it truly gets real. And yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
That's funny that you say that, because I was in Fallujah. I was a corpsman attached to one Marines, and I was in Fallujah in 2004. And we had went out to this place called the Cloverleaf, and there was just bullets flying everywhere. And I turned to my gunny and I said, "How do you know when they're shooting at you?" And he laughed and said, "You'll know." Like 8 minutes later, you start hearing like the ricochet and the sound. I was like, "Oh, that's different."
Oh, yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
that's
you-
me.
I said the same thing. I was like, well, how do you, like, of course, we're always getting shot at, but how do you know if it's close? And they're like, well, you'll hear a pop. If you hear that pop, that means it's within, like,
You'll hear two pops, one from the bullet and one from you puckering up the speed of sound.
100%.
We had
100%.
something similar.
But yeah, they said as soon as you hear the pop, that means that it's close. I was like, oh, cool.
I think like me, you heard some really close pops at some point, right? You ended up getting injured, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to share if you don't want to, but if you
mind.
if you want to tell me a little bit about that, because I want to sort of transition into scars in a second. But go ahead.
Yeah, April 21st, 2011, we were on patrol, going to suspected bomb maker's hut to just get information. And while we were on patrol, I happened to walk up on a guy who was hiding behind a wall, and he had his hand behind his back, but he looked like everyone else that was there. In Afghanistan, everyone looks the same, and then you get there and they all look at you like, what are you doing here? Like, you don't belong here. Every single person, doesn't matter if they're a Taliban fighter or if they're a regular civilian, they all look at you like you don't belong. Yeah. So I just thought, okay, well, it's just another person. So I went back to doing what I was doing, and I saw him move real quick. And that's when I noticed that whenever he moved is when I squared my body up to him, like to drop my Valen and grab my rifle, because him moving was weird. And by that time he had already pulled a rifle from behind his back and started firing. He was probably about 12 feet from me when he opened fire. He hit me 10 times, 5 times on the shoulder, 4 times in the hip, once in the thigh. And honestly, it was a blessing that he was as close as he was, because every round just kind of went through, and I don't know how I didn't get more messed up than I am.
Yeah. So you called out your scars, and what's interesting about that is I have a song called Scars as well. It's not on the Grand Ole Opry, it's on YouTube, but same thing. I think those are similar.
Yeah, basically similar.
You guys are the same.
And so for me, I mean, it's those samesies where, I think I saw you anyway, but not hiding from them, but owning them. And then on my end, it was because I have the prosthetic leg. It's just, I am more than this. That is not who I am. When somebody sees me, I don't want that to be the thing, like, oh, he's jacked up. Yeah. But was there a turning point when you realized that vulnerability, that thing that you'd been through, which could be a source of trauma, ongoing pain, I'm sure, in a lot of ways. When did you decide that could be a strength for you and not a weakness?
Yeah, honestly, as far as music is concerned, it was crazy. So I wrote a lot for myself as a form of therapy. It was the way that I kind of dealt with stuff during COVID. Yeah. And I went to a show I went and played a military show in Phoenix, Arizona, where I opened for Dave Grohl. And, but it was like a room of like 200 veterans. There was only veterans in this room. And I played a song that I wrote about my survivor's guilt called How Do You Choose? And it's about my best friend that was killed and the survivor's guilt that I deal with every day. And for me, it was just a song that was therapeutic for me. It was a song that I needed to just get out there and sing because I was dealing with stuff. And I noticed when I got done, like I poured my heart into this song and I played it. And it was the first time that I had ever got done playing a song and no one clapped. And I was like, oh my God, they hated it. And then, I kind of looked around more and I saw that everyone was kind of consoling each other. And then from then on out, I started getting messages and I started having people come up to me and talk to me. And I was like, wait, there's something in this. Like there's something in me being vulnerable and opening up about what I deal with and the issues that I have. Like I need to keep pushing this so that people can see that it's okay to be open and be vulnerable and be, just let people in. Like it's okay to do that. You can still be successful and still suffer. Like it's okay,
I think that's how you let it out though,
100%.
And
100%. Yeah. I mean, for me, like I said, for me, it was just therapy. And then I noticed that it hit a chord and it started helping people. And I was like, well, I wanted to help people with my music anyhow and my story and, showing that there's so much more that can be done. You don't have to be, you don't have to be defined by the bad, but what you do with it. And the best way to do that is for me to just open my chest and let everyone see my heart, because that's the best way that I'm going to be able to connect with people.
Performing, whether it's speaking or singing in front of veterans is a way more, it's weird because I did so much speaking to civilians and a little bit of music and stuff like that, but I thought it was hard talking to people who don't get it. It is definitely in a lot of ways harder to talk to those who do. There's a different energy. There's a different way that you approach the entire thing. And for 100%. Me, I'm way more likely to completely lose it in front of a bunch of vets. And it can be a humbling experience, especially when you hit that moment where you realize that you're resonating with someone who needed it. And so I just want to commend you for being able to open up in that vulnerability. That's what people are looking so hard for, people to be real, and they're looking for excuses not to trust people. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one reason why I love my co-host here, because they've seen me cry a dozen times or more, probably more now.
Every episode, Scotty. Every episode.
I am definitely voted the most likely to cry. And it's funny because I've never felt more emotionally stable and strong in my life.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can handle anything because I don't hold on to it. I don't walk around with water in my open hands trying to squeeze every bit of it back into me. And I can. It's just, it is what it is. So I commend you, brother. Scars is a banger, by the way. It's almost as good as mine.
Yeah, man. That was it's crazy because like you're so right. We have even gotten to the point where we adjust my set list depending on what we're doing. So if it's more of a veteran oriented show, we adjust the set list for more open, vulnerable stuff that I can possibly reach a veteran with. The way that I talk when I'm at a veteran show is completely different than if I'm just at like a regular show.
Do you drop more F-bombs? Is that what you're saying, Scotty?
No, I try not to cuss as much as possible, but but no, just like the way that you talk about like your experiences and the way that you live your life now, and the veterans just understand stuff differently than normal civilians, and it's sometimes it's easier. Honestly, sometimes it's easier to connect with veterans. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. And I didn't realize that it would be as much as it is. And I mean, Scars is an amazing example of a conversation that I had with the two co-writers that were on it with me, Daniel Etheridge and Cole Phillips. We were having a conversation about me getting shot in Afghanistan and the scars that were left from it, both physically and mentally, and all these other things that I've done in my life that have caused scars. And then it kind of blossomed into this outlaw feeling song out of nowhere. And it was like, I don't know how that happened, but it came from this conversation about me getting shot and everything that I deal with since. And it's amazing the way that, music can transform and, breed into something so much more.
Well, speaking of that, I think there's a song for like every big event in my life that kind of brings me right back to those events. So, Bombs Over Baghdad, when we invaded, that brings me right back to the streets of Baghdad. Anyway, there's 1,000 songs for 1,000 moments in life. So, Scotty, curious, what was your gear up anthem when you were downrange? Like, what was
Oh man, I would listen to Five Finger Death Punch, War is the Answer, the whole album. I would start from the beginning, go all the way down, and then I'd be ready to go. And it's crazy. I just played Sturgis this last week, and Chris Cale from Five Finger Death Punch has since become a very good friend of mine, and we talked about how those first two albums that they put out were like the soundtrack of Afghanistan. Like that was what we listened to.
Wow.
Like
Did he serve?
It got you pissed off just enough to go fight some bad guys. Like it was like, yeah.
So that leads me to the next question. A lot of us who persevere through injuries and stuff like that, though there are days where it feels nearly impossible to get through the day. You talk about survivor's guilt, and it's your own well-being and resilience is difficult enough. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and redefining who you are and what that journey is like. Did you ever in a million years, even when you were in Afghanistan, think, or was it even a goal to be on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, or going to Sturgis and doing these kind of events, having concerts?
Yeah, no. No, not at all. Music, I never thought in a million years I'd be doing music. I grew up singing, but it was more of a hobby. It was something I did in the car. It was something I did in the shower. I never sang in front of anybody.
Did you sing in the shower downrange? Like, did the boys know that you were?
I mean, I sang. I think I sang in basic training, but not in Afghanistan. But yeah, it was a hobby for me. It was kind of like my happy place. But I never in a million years thought that it would be a career. I mean, I started in 2020 is when I started to learn how to play the guitar, and that's when I started to learn how to write music as therapy. It was only therapy for me. That's all I cared about, was that I was getting therapy out of it. And then the world started opening up, and I started playing down on Broadway in Nashville, and I was able to live in a moment for 4 hours at a time. I was able to get away from the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety. I was able to just be in a moment on a stage, and I fell in love with that. I fell in love with that feeling and being able to live in a moment. That's something that people who struggle with PTSD, depression, anxiety, it's hard as hell to find a time when you can just be in this moment and not be over there, and I was able to find that on stage, and it became my sanctuary. And then it just kind of grew wings and somehow became what it is now. I don't know. I would have never, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you and said, there's not a chance. So
was there a time where you tried to talk yourself out of it? Or
yes, there were definitely some times when I was learning how to play guitar that were incredibly frustrating, especially with the nerve damage in my hand that I have. It's very hard to play sometimes, and I tried to talk myself out of it, but at the same time I would always go back to it because it was a way for me to escape from all the bad, so it was like, I don't want to do this, it's pissing me off, but also like I need the therapy of it, so I don't have a choice really. But yeah.
Man,
yeah.
I'm sorry, you had to say
No,
something.
go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Oh, I just feel like I'm connecting some dots here. Were you happen to be in Nashville in 2023 when Drake White did the Benefit for the Brain concert?
I was there. I was trying to play that show.
And you're friends with Chad McClain from Mental Joe Apparel?
Oh yeah.
I met you. Yeah.
He makes all my merch.
I met you that day with Tommy
Absolutely.
Esposito. Yeah, do you remember that? That's crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You had just come back from working on some songs, and Chad was telling us that is so wild. I'm just having
that's crazy
moment right here. Well, man, it's so incredible to see, and the story that you told about not getting the applause versus the therapy session that you put on from the chords coming from your guitar and from your voice, and the impact that has, because music's so powerful, right? And we know that. The energy and a frequency. And it's one thing to go out there and, become a professional at it, famous, to be able to do well at it. it's another thing to live authentically and vulnerably as an ambassador for this community that's going through so much. So I couldn't agree more that that has to be essential to all of your talents, but also being able to give something energetically and emotionally that our community is just like craving for right now.
Yeah.
So I would be interested more kind of like on the process side. And I think that's so cool, from your injury to not really even picking up the guitar until, 2020. And then even your career that's just skyrocketed since we met about 2 years ago, playing the Grand Ole Opry, Normandy for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, National Memorial Day concert DC, the American Legion World Series coming up.
Mhm.
What's your kind of prep like? Do you think combat, being first ID, Afghanistan, that, yeah, you still get the nerves, but you're just coming up and you're ready, you know what you're going to do, you're thinking about the set list, you're customizing it just for this audience? It's almost like every show is kind of like a ceremony of sorts.
Yeah. It's funny. Everyone always asks, like, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "Well, no one's shooting at me today, so I mean, I think I'm pretty good." No, I think that I always get nervous side stage right before I come out, but I think nerves are important. I think it's good. I think that means that it means something to you. If you get nervous, that just means that it matters to you. And but yeah, I mean, you go into it and we rehearse, me and the band rehearse, we prep, we go through the set list. I mean, by the time we're walking out on stage, we're ready to go. Like everything is packed up and ready. We feel great. Like we know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. But honestly, the military helped me out a lot, because on stage sometimes you have to adapt because something can go wrong and you have to figure it out on the fly. And the military being deployed, like it helped a lot with calming the nerves of when something goes wrong, because there's always something on stage that goes wrong, always.
Yeah, how do
But
you kind of deal with that? Because that was actually going to be my question. Because in the military, no plane survives first contact, right?
yeah.
So you got to be able to how are you? Have you ever seen the crowd or feel the vibe so much that you guys just made a hard pivot during the show, or has something gone so wrong? Like what's an instance like that?
Yeah. There's been shows where we always have like a couple songs like on the back burner, just in case type thing. Like, hey, if we're feeling this, we're gonna do this song. A lot of times when I'm doing a military show, like when I'm doing a veteran nonprofit show or something like that, we hard pivot all the time. I mean, it's like we have this set list, but then we also have the song Stories That They Tell. We have a song called Good to Hear Your Voice that I wrote for my dad, who just died in June. Like we have other songs that like I can immediately be like, hey, we're gonna do this one. Or we have Good Old Dogs and God, where if there's a lot of dogs in the room or people who have service dogs in the room, we can be like, hey guys, let's do Good Old Dogs and God real quick. Let's run this real quick because people are gonna connect to this. But yeah, there's a lot of on the fly. You have your basic foundation of a set list, and then there's a lot of on the fly like cues that we do. Like, hey, we're gonna go Good Old Dogs and God instead of this one, or we're gonna do this instead of this. And but yeah, I mean, that's honestly that's a testament to my band and the fact that they're so incredible. And I'm lucky enough to be able to work with some of the greatest players in the world, and they're ready for it and willing and ready to go all the time.
Well, I know Joe's got a follow up for you, but I just got one more question for you. What are you excited about? What do you guys got upcoming for the fall?
Oh man, we're working on new music. So we're kind of shifting into this rock country feel, like with Scars. Scars is more of a it's kind of where my band fits, and it's kind of where my voice fits, and we've kind of found a nice pocket in like the country rock, southern rock sound. And it really helps because my band, a lot of them started in rock bands, so it helps a lot with that. But yeah, I mean, that's really cool. And then of course, just getting out there and playing shows. I mean, like I said, being on stage is my sanctuary. So every time I'm able to be on a stage, it's the most exciting time of my life.
You ever listen to Bill Murray?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, because that style, is it's so fun when somebody nails it down, when somebody can hit that line between. And I think it's funny because it's, you know, country music is so much of its own thing that when somebody uses it, I mean, everybody remembers the Godzilla soundtrack or whatever, where, you know, it was Jay-Z and you know, with the rap rock, but like country rap and country rock is incredible. I think it's a gateway for a lot of people to get into. I don't know how many people I've heard that were heavy rockers that get that, you know, that listen to Bill Murray. Next thing you know, they're Coulter Wall fans.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a cool Tyler Childers. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I want to bring this up because I think this is pretty incredible. You're headlining a concert at the American Legion World Series. It's a place slap full of patriotism, just drip moist with patriotism.
Joe, I'm going to ban you from using the word moist in any sentence.
I
on
know.
the
I've been saving
I like
it.
it. I count it. There we go.
I've been saving it. That's the only time I'm ever going to get to use it. You know, youth community. So, what message do you hope to to bring these young veterans and you know, even these athletes, these high school athletes, take away from hearing your music and your story?
Yeah, you know, I hope that. Really, I hope for that anytime anyone ever comes to a show, I just hope that it when they leave, I hope that they feel hope for the future. You know, I hope that they understand that you can struggle and you can still be successful, and you don't have to be defined by the bad, but what you do with it, and that you can do so much more than you ever thought possible, because I would have never in a million years ever thought that I would be playing and doing what I'm doing. I mean, I've been able to be on stages that I could have only dreamed of. And I mean, I would never think that I'd be here. And I hope that, you know, that's a big takeaway, is that, you know, that you can do anything that you put your mind to, and that dreams do come true. And I hope someone sees me up there playing guitar with my nerve damage in my hand and realizes that just because they're injured doesn't mean they can't do something. You know, I think that it's important. You know, I'm not a great guitar player. I'm actually pretty awful compared to everyone else that I know. And but it's important for me to have a guitar in my hand so that people can see someone who's injured, who's not supposed to be able to play, out there playing.
And obviously you do have skill, but I think the point of a lot of art is not to do it because you're good at it. It's to do it because you've got a unique take on everything. I mean, you know, what you're doing changes your style in a way that makes you unique. You know, I with everything going on with, you know, with Ozzy passing and things like that, I never really listened to much Black Sabbath. And what's funny is I didn't get into it because Ozzy passed. I got into it because of all this algorithm. It keeps pushing it into my eyes. Yeah. And then I found out that their guitar player got the two tips of his two middle fingers. And that's why he has that heavy sound instead of this really dexterous sound. Yeah. And now it's fascinating to me because when I listen to War Pigs and you've got the music going boom, 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 and then you've got the guitar going whoa, whoa, you know, it sounds like hitting a hammer instead of. So being able to turn what you've gone through into your very own style, I think is incredible. Exactly what you said, to take these things and somebody like you or Adam or me or Stacy who've been through different things, we have different views on things. And when you sing your music, when you get up in front of people, you're doing something that not everybody can do. That's how you say, I love you to people. Yeah. You know, that's how you let people know how honored you were to be a part of our American military, even if it was, you know, Army. And to be honest with you, I, you know, all joking aside though, like, I'm proud of you, man. I know you don't know me and that may not mean much to you, but it's incredible, man. It's incredible. And I'm really proud to know and to have this time hanging out with you today.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. That means the world.
Man, that took him 5 minutes to say thanks, Scotty.
I wanted to talk about Black Sabbath. Go easy on me.
Out with a lot of Marines,
Scotty. Let's talk about Ozzy Osbourne.
You got to give him a little bit of grace.
Yeah, of course.
Doing the best I can.
So for any alphas who are tuning in right now that need to hear something positive, you have any positive affirmation to share with them, Scotty?
Yeah, you know, just keep moving. keep going forward. You know, there were so many times when I could have quit and thought about it, and you know, just continued to push forward. And now I'm doing things I never thought possible, and that's possible because of moving forward and not accepting defeat. I mean, there's a reason why that's part of our ethos, right? You don't accept defeat, like that's part of it. And you take every day for what it is and have a great support system and reach out to people. Don't be too proud to reach out to somebody. I have an incredible support system and a lot of friends that I reach out to on a daily basis, and it's important.
Well, we really appreciate your time, Scotty. Alphas, be sure to check out scottyhasting.com to learn more about his incredible work, listen to his music, go to iTunes, download it, add it to your library, all those good things. And check out where he'll be next, because you want to see him live. Maybe he'll be at the Bluebird Cafe sometime shortly if you're in the
hopefully, I'd love to go back. I love the Bluebird.
While there, don't forget to click on those social media links, not while you're driving. I'll reiterate that. Be safe. Follow him on your preferred platforms. As Joe is only on MySpace, you probably can't find Scotty there, but maybe on Facebook or Instagram. I'm just kidding. We'll have the website, the social media links in our show notes. And again, Scotty, thank you so much for spending so much time with us today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for visiting us today. And Alphas, stick around for some Scuttlebutt after the break.
Discover the power of your voice and form a deeper understanding of our nation and the principles that shape it. As a participant in the American Legion Oratorical Contest, you'll develop a deeper knowledge of the U.S. Constitution and a greater understanding of the duties, responsibilities, rights, and privileges of American citizenship. As you step up to this academic speaking challenge, you'll learn leadership skills, the art of oration, and have a shot at winning up to $25,000 in scholarships. Seize your moment. Visit legion.org/oratorical and take the first steps towards shaping your future today.
All right, Alphas, we hope you had a great break. Now it's time for some Scuttlebutt.
I'd like to kick off Scuttlebutt with some Reddit fun. It's been a while since I went down the rabbit hole, and I thought I'd make you guys chuckle a bit. I stumbled on a post thread titled, "What's the worst MRE you've ever ate?" The post thread author just so happened to be the U.S. Marine Corps, and featured a picture showcased the dreaded vegetarian omelet meal. You guys ever have that one?
Omelet meal?
Yeah,
No.
it reminded me of that little Spaceballs creature that jumped out of the guy's gut, like, "Hello, my baby, hello, my darling." Anyway, that was my last experience with one of those vegetarian omelet MREs. But of course, Reddit didn't disappoint. The respondents really weighed in some good doozies. So at Wilson2424 said, "Have you ever had the country captain chicken that was so revolting, starving Iraqi street dogs wouldn't even eat it?" To which Numero 6 responded, "Also, who and what the fuck is country captain? Good question, Numero 6. Google says it's curried chicken rice dish." Which, which even cooked and served fresh sounds like it would tear your insides out going in and out. That begs the question too, why would they make it an MRE in the first place? Anyway, at Economy Daikon 8326 aptly referred to it as country crapton chicken. You win it. That's the new banner of the MRE. And Bragadan's Law remarked that the one I had was fucking green. There's no excuse for chicken to ever be green. 0. And Drewski, which is really great, Drewski FD, remarked, "I get VA disability for my exposure to country captain chicken." And at Wilson2424 responded, "They told me mine wasn't service connected." That has to take the cake.
I just want to say that chicken can be green if you go back far enough in its eggs, because then you can have green eggs and ham.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
or pesto.
Or pesto, yes, which is better than both.
Further down the thread, at Rifleman Lax weighed in with, this vegetarian Alfredo shells nastiness from the early aughts. If you pulled that emery, you were just sitting there like, and then alongside that thread was a cartoon of a GI holding an emery that said, dog shit with sauce.
Lean up against a rock or something.
So gross. At Terrified Artist said, all I know is thank you to the person at the Pentagon who decided to add the small Tabasco bottles to the MREs.
Yeah.
And this is why I call it the Reddit rabbit hole, because I found myself going down a whole other rabbit hole. Fun fact, Tabasco's inclusion in military rations unofficially dates back to 1966, but was officially added to U.S. MREs in 1990, which marked the formal inclusion of the 1/8 ounce mini Tabasco bottle that we're all familiar with, the little red cap. At Acid Bomb 19 responded to this thread saying, now Tabasco are in pouches. Frickin' lame. What can I throw at ground squirrels now? To which, well, Acid Bomb 19, you might be happy to hear that mini bottles of Satan's swamp ass were reintroduced in 2019. Squirrels around the globe, you have been warned. Run.
I'm sorry, mini bottles of what?
I happen to call it Satan's swamp ass, but don't hold me to that.
Okay, so Tabasco.
It's Tabasco.
I was like, is this some new brand that I'm unaware of?
Yeah. I'm sure there's some. I'm sure there's some like pepper sauce out there.
There you go. Free idea from Stacy Pearsall.
But you need to. I need to get like 1 penny per bottle.
1 penny per bottle
packet.
Another fun fact, guys. Did you know that the grandson of the inventor of Tabasco was a Marine, and that's how we ended up with Tabascos in the MREs in the first place? So, it happens to be World War II veteran Brigadier General Walter Stauffer, quote, Tabasco Mac McKinley, distinguished himself as a member of the Marine Reserves. And he, for his actions in the Battle of Guadalcanal, he was awarded the Navy Cross and the Silver Star. After the war, he returned home to the family business, which happens to be Satan's swamp ass, Tabasco, where he drew on his experience from the mid-century sea rations to produce a cookbook called the Charlie Ration Cookbook, or No Food is Too Good for the Man Up Front. Bundled with a 2-ounce bottle of Tabasco sauce with a waterproof container, this humorous cookbook offered recipes and reproductions of diverse meals from the sea rations. I would not, first of all, call sea rations diverse. Humorous, yes, they are, as well as this cookbook. Anyway,
diverse or the worst?
Anything that requires you to sprinkle Tabasco on is probably not the best recipe in the first place. And in a fond nod to Tabasco Mac, at ADPax10 remarked on Reddit, I would never, ever dick salute this man. His lobbying for the tiny Tabasco bottles in MREs saved me many times, and I'll forever be in his debt for making traditional Tabasco my go-to sauce for meals that suck ass. Oh gosh. Okay, so the thread had other really fun facts. At Snowshoe Phil said, every single time, and I mean every single time I have gotten one of these, the sauce on the cap has dried up to a crust and you can't even get it out. Never once have I been able to use it.
You gotta bite the crust off.
Or just snip it or break it or something. Anyway, getting back on track. At Own Pressure 6978 suggested that the Asian style beef strips were the worst. Apparently, at Augustus Optimus agreed, saying, this was the worst. I'd rather go hungry. Chewy, grizzly meat with undercooked veggies in a soy-based sauce. And that's soy-based sauce in quotes. But Big PD Guy didn't quite agree, saying, I don't mind it. Not my favorite, though. The goulash is also kind of gross. So if he's saying it's not bad, it's just kind of gross. That's the bar of MREs. I had to admit MREs were never pleasant, no matter how hungry I was. And I would try to get swapsies of my contents for either poppy seed pound cake or government cheese. You know, that coagulated crap that never quite brought itself together. It was always permanently separated. Mm. M&Ms. Hold that thought though. At Butter 101 said.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Did you guys ever have the cheese spread that was beyond the expiration date that had turned into that pungent amber liquid? This is the same stuff I'm talking about. Like, it changed my life, whether for good or bad, but I was determined. Anyway, guys, MREs, any thoughts?
I just want to say to anybody who's still in and listening, pound cake, peanut butter, and fruit, the little fruit cups, you mix it together. It does not sound like it would be good, but every person who's tried it was like, this has made me want to live. There is hope. I don't know if those are still floating around, but that was what kept me going. I felt like I was eating dessert over there when it was for, you had to get one out of the vegetarian meal, but you know, you just had to save up.
Well,
I didn't mind them, but you just stop eating. You go on a maintenance diet. When you first go over there, everybody like puts on a pound or two when you're out, because you're just stuffing MREs. They're laying around and you're bored. And then as the salt starts to burn your insides out, you just eventually get to where you eat.
There's a lot of sodium in those bad boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're eating like 1,100 calories a day.
I just want to say that as an aviator, we were always around a lot of defects. So,
yeah, whatever, Adam.
So seriously, if we got MREs, it's because there was no other food. And,
as a sand sailor, not so much.
And I think there's definitely like preferences, ones that sucked way more. But as far as I was concerned, like that was the food that I was getting, and I ate it all. Like whatever was in my little packet for that day, that was the meal. It was like, okay, it's going down. And some of it was way more terrible than other things. Maybe seeing like the pasta, you know, some kind of vegetarian type of pasta seemed to be good. I don't know, the fake.
You could eat those room temperature or air temperature.
The fake bread things with like the hamburger or the cheese or the peanut butter. I don't know. The cracker with the spicy jalapeno cheese, you know, and the vegetable cracker.
I kind of like that cheese.
Once you found where the one thing in that you really loved and what that meal was, you were willing to endure the rest of the meal for that one thing.
Yeah. There were some people that didn't go to the bathroom for 20 days after eating that stuff.
This is true. I feel like it corks up your system a bit. So
honestly, in all seriousness, I wonder what the ramifications of eating like a 2-week MRE diet are on the processing of that food in your body.
I bet there's a VA rating.
I think your corpse would not require any embalming.
That's what the mummies ate.
I think that was standard issue before that. They're like,
M stands for mummy, ready to eat. Mummy food, ready to eat.
Oh, so at Shamrock, Blarney Stone had a bad run-in with government peanut butter pouch saying, I ate peanut butter in 1986 that must have cracked open during the Tet Offensive. It was pitch black, so I just squeezed it down my throat. A second later, I realized my mistake. Tasted like moldy peanuts. Pucking sick for like 2 days. Never dropped out of a hump, though. Staff sergeant saw me on my hands and knees during a smoke break, gagging and shaking like I was trying to cough up a hairball. He never said a word. And on that illustrated word, that wraps up this week's installment of the Reddit Rabbit Hole. If you have time to read the entire thread, we're going to have that link in the show notes, so go back. There's more. I just didn't have time to share it all. I didn't want to bogart the scuttlebutt. And while you're there, don't forget to follow the American Legion on Reddit. Fellas?
I just want to say that, wouldn't it be funny? You remember when the Super Bowl came out and everyone was like, oh, it's Timu, not Timu? I'm wondering, wouldn't it be funny if the creator of Reddit was like, it's Reddit, you fools. It's been Reddit the whole time. Sorry, it's out of your hands. You've lost this one, bud. I want to talk about the Navy because I think it's cool.
You would.
Yeah. Well, the Navy contracted a new Arleigh Burke class destroyer that is set to be named after a Marine who received the Medal of Honor for saving a fellow service member's life. Navy Secretary John Phelan, with a PH, Phelan, announced in early August. The destroyer Kyle Carpenter will be named after Corporal Kyle Carpenter, who on November 21st, 2010, shielded another Marine from a grenade blast by throwing his body in front of the explosive. Carpenter was severely wounded as a result, but managed to survive. In 2010, Corporal Carpenter went above and beyond the call of duty to shield a fellow Marine from a grenade blast in Afghanistan, Phelan wrote. May this worship represent his valor, resilience, and devotion to our nation. Carpenter was serving with the 2nd Battalion, 9th Marine Regiment at the time of the blast. Along with 2 reinforced Marine squads and partnered with an Afghan National Army squad, Carpenter was in a small village in the Marja district of Afghanistan. Coalition forces were shielding the local population from enemy activity, according to Carpenter's Medal of Honor citation. Carpenter and another Marine were on a rooftop just on the perimeter of Patrol Base Dakota when enemy forces attacked. Suddenly, a hand grenade landed near Carpenter and the other Marine. Carpenter immediately jumped in front of the explosive, absorbing the brunt of the detonation and saving the Marine's life. On June 19, 2014, former President Barack Obama presented Carpenter with the Medal of Honor, making him the youngest living recipient of that military decoration. And they held out for a long time to start dropping medals on OIF, OEF guys and gals. They waited a long time. I remember... it was 2008, and I don't remember who the first was. I forget exactly who was first, but it seemed like a few happened pretty quickly right after that. But they waited a while. But that's cool though that we are getting a new ship named after Kyle, which is probably one of the few names that is known as a household name. You know, Kyle Carpenter. A lot of people know Kyle Carpenter. So I think that's gonna be awesome. Personally, you guys may hate the Navy and veterans as a whole, but
You redeemed the entire Navy, Joe.
Thank you. Wait, what? It's so the naming actually of the United States Navy vessels after living people was a common in the earlier years of American history, but as I guess they got a little more dark in the early 20th, because the Navy had established a practice of naming ships only after they died. So in 69, a Navy panel formally decreed that warships would no longer be named after living persons. It's kind of a dark conversation, you know?
Huh.
Like, wow. I want a library, but I'd like to see it. You know, I mean, it'd be cool to have a library named after me, but I kind of want to, you know, I don't know, walk into it once.
Check out a book.
Yeah, maybe check out a book in the JDW, Atlanta Library or something. That's dark.
Well, they pivoted in 1974.
Yeah. It didn't last long. That was a strong couple of years. I wonder when somebody was like, guys, this is awful. President Richard Nixon announced the naming of the aircraft carrier after the United States Representative Carl Vinson. Over the next half century, that's 50 for Marines, the Navy named more ships for living people than it had in the previous 2 centuries. 2 centuries is 200 for the Air Force. From October 2020 to March 2023, the Navy named a ship for a living person every 8 months, a pace unseen since 1776. Some of you...
That's Independence Day for all you Army folks.
When Will Smith fought the aliens. I'll never forget it.
Bill Pullman.
There I was.
This will forever be our Independence Day. I wonder how many people did monologues with that speech.
Oh, I had one of my buddies in my fraternity in college would do it at parties.
That's
he was in the theater department. He gave a great rendition.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
I want to see that now. If somebody's got a videotape of that, I want to personally see that.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's the Navy, baby. We just naming ships.
All right, naming ships in the Navy. Well, I got something for you.
What?
I was waiting for you.
What?
It's a Bravo Zulu. It's a shout out to 13 members of the American Legion Riders from Ernest A. Love Post 6 in Prescott, Arizona. In June, they embarked on a ride that matters, an 8-day journey that wound through Arizona, Nevada, California, Oregon, Idaho, and Utah. That actually sounds like a beautiful ride. I would love to see that terrain. They rode over 2,500 miles and raised more than $14,000 as they wound their way through the western states. But more importantly, the ALR team made a huge impact on hundreds of people's lives as they stopped at multiple locations and met with the 4 nonprofit organizations to distribute the donations that they collected. 4 organizations received $3,000 in donations from the American Legion Riders. Camp Courage in Arizona Burn Foundation. Arizona Burn Foundation's mission is to improve the quality of life for burn survivors and their families. The camp is a week in Prescott, Arizona for burn survivors 6 through 19 to build courage as they connect with other survivors. Central Oregon Veterans Ranch was the second one. They have touched the lives of veterans and their families through therapeutic, vocational, and agrotherapy, which we've talked about before on this program, in our 19-acre working ranch, on their 19-acre working ranch. Project Healing Waters is therapeutic outdoor recreation, using the sport of fly fishing as an intervention. They help active military service personnel and veterans. Have you ever fly fished, Joe?
I have been fly fishing, and it was really awesome, and I nailed it down while I was doing it. There's a nonprofit that takes veterans fly fishing and gives them equipment called Bar X in Montana. And I went up there with a bunch of my Marines that I hadn't seen in years, and it was beautiful. And then I promptly came home and forgot everything they taught me. But it was awesome.
Did you have to like tie the little, like, is that a real thing? Or
yeah, and I did it because I'm smart and capable, Adam. But don't ask me how, because I have forgotten.
Well, I've never been, and that was illuminating for me. And I'm sorry that you lost all your skills, but it sounds...
I'll watch The River Runs Through It and get it all back.
That's it. Okay, the other one, I'm going to try my best to say this, the Yavapai, Big Brothers and Sisters, makes meaningful, monitored matches between adult volunteers, or bigs, and youths, or littles, from 6 to 24. In addition to visiting the nonprofits, the ALR team were welcomed at American Legion posts along the route. Post 6 Commander Sam McPherson recognized 5 Legion posts who went above and beyond to support and welcome the tired and weary riders with exceptional hospitality. So shout out to Post 40 in Henderson, Nevada, Post 8 in Klamath Falls, Oregon, Post 18 in Nampa, Idaho, Post 112 in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Post 69 in Kanab, Utah. A Ride That Matters was an accomplishment that shows the strong impact the Legion family on the lives of our fellow veterans, service members, their families, and their communities. It's really incredible to hear about the individual projects, what they're doing in service to the community, to the veteran community, especially targeted more towards the youth. It sounds like an incredible opportunity to go and see, the Western U.S., I'm sure running in a pack on a motorcycle. I tell my wife, we got so many things with the kids at the current age and, supporting mom and things like that. And honestly, my dream is like every time we pass the Harley store, I'm like, babe, one day I'm going to get that Harley.
One day.
We go on those rides once we get all this other stuff sorted.
I just wish they didn't name their trike the Freewheeler. It sounds like somebody got their 3-year-old to come up with a name.
I don't know. They should have workshopped that a little bit.
Yeah, but seriously though, like that spirit of giving back that Post 69 and the others have is really, I think it really embodies what the American Legion is all about, and that's beautiful. Bravo Zulu.
Bravo Zulu. Great job, everybody.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in Tampa. Are you ready?
I'm ready to bring the heat.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's gonna be hot.
stoked,
so
bro.
hot.
It's gonna be humid.
Humid.
Well, wait, have we've never all three been together at once?
We haven't.
Yeah. My son had a dramatic explosion in his appendix last year. He's going to do it again this year. They can grow back.
Adam, I don't think so. Adam and I held down the fort last year. I think Holly's got some special stuff in store for us. If you guys are milling about the convention floor, you got to make sure you stop by. Holly's put a lot of work into creating a little safe space for us to sit down and talk to folks. And we're going to have, Joe and I will have our service dogs there. And Adam needs no sidekick. He's his own man.
We had so much fun
just
last
him and his
year.
booty shorts.
I'm so excited for this. Yeah, we had so much fun walking about, meeting everybody, doing some interviews on the spot. It's going to be great. We're looking forward to it.
And if you want an unsafe space, maybe there's some axe throwing nearby.
True. But I think Holly's going to have some zoo animals for us lined up.
Oh, my.
Which will be fun.
So if you are coming to the convention, we'll be in the exhibit hall. We'll be recording interviews, and we're going to share those with you in September. And you need to stop by and say hello. And if you're not going to do that, then we're mad at you. I mean, that's just how it works. And we'll remember your name, and we won't pay for your lunch next time we see you.
We won't invite you to our birthday parties.
You're not invited to my birthday party if you don't come say hey to us.
You'll be able to spot us because Adam is like 7 foot tall. Joe is 6 foot.
Me and Holly are about the same height.
And then there's me. So they'll be making heads over me, being able to point everybody out. But if you see the little chick wedged between two really tall goons, that's us.
Goons?
Well, by 7 feet, you mean about 6'2", 6'8".
Goons and dames. Just nothing but goons and dames. There were birds and dames and goons.
I was
kind of
classifying myself as the goon manwich. So I'm the gooniest in between.
Goonies never say die.
I'm the green chicken to your MRE. I'm your country Captain Chicken.
Country Crafton.
Better than Thai curry.
But all joking aside, if you are coming to the convention, we would love for you to stop by and say hello. And if not, stay tuned to Legion.org, YouTube, and all our social media channels for complete convention coverage. Unlike Adam's legs, who will be wearing cut-off jorts.
Yes, with sleeveless t-shirts, the ones where he cut the whole armpit out. Keep an eye on. All right, Alphas, thanks for listening. You can subscribe to our podcast, our newsletter, or send us mail and guest recommendations at legion.org/Tango Alpha Lima. We'll see you next week.
Oh, yeah.